monster.
I'm your number one fan.
Now clear your minds. Knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
It's been informed that zombies have entered the building. They're at the door. They're coming in.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Midnight Monster Corner podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tony, and I'm joined by my two homies, Corey. What's up, Corey?
What's going on, brother? What's happening?
What's up? And our homie, Frosty. What's going on, man?
You're next. What's up, man?
Hey, really stoked for this episode, man. Ready to get down to it. This is going to be a fascinating one to delve into.
Yes.
It was a really, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, a really fucking awesome movie.
Yes.
But before that, before we get into it, you guys, you fellas pick up anything this week or?
Boy, did I.
Let's talk about Frosty's Haul here.
Oh
okay.
My gosh. I went a little crazy. You know, we spent some money this week. Between buying stuff to build the shelves and our closets for extra storage and, so I can make the wife happy and do some, home improvement stuff around the house. As a trade, you let me buy movies, obviously. So yeah, I picked up a few things.
Trade there.
Oh yeah, definitely. So between, between ordering stuff on Amazon and going on some movie hunts, I was able to, so I'll start off. I ordered the Scream trilogy on Blu-ray. I think it was only like $15-17 or something like that. It was a pretty good deal. So I didn't want to pass it up. They did have all 4 Screams, but the only one I found on Amazon on Blu-ray was the Region 2 or Region B. So only for maybe Europe and Australia. So I was like, I was kind of bummed about that. But I did pick up the trilogy, which was one of the first, whenever I started selling my movies, it was one of the first collections I had sold. I'm kind of kicking myself now. So I'm basically making a list of movies I want to pick up again on top of the ones I want to collect that I never owned. You know what I mean? But so yeah.
So can I stop you right there?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, you just said something interesting that triggered me here. You said that you made a list. I don't know if Tony still has his, but I have a list of slasher films, a list of all kinds of films that I've been looking for years at this point. So anytime I get one of those films, I check it off the list. But I've got a huge list compiled of films that I'm in search for, especially out in the wild. And we used to actually take those lists when we went on a hunt, and now we've just got shit memorized on what we're actually looking for in the wild. So
my problem is, a while back I was selling a bunch of my stuff, just kind of, I guess, liquidating my collection, but I ended up kind of going overboard because I ended up selling some stuff that was really near and dear to me. So I'm now having to repurchase all of this stuff and kind of rebuild my collection back up. So I'm really kicking myself. I was going through my collection yesterday and it was kind of sorting some stuff out and realized that I had a lot of movies missing. Even simple ones like Gremlins, the first Gremlins. I have the second one still, not the first one. So now I got to go out and buy the first Gremlins when I owned the first one for years before I sold it. So it's just kind of inconvenience for me. People Under the Stairs. Somebody bought that movie from me, and I'm pretty bummed about it because that was one of my favorites.
Well, that just gives you a reason to go find a Scream Factory edition of the movie, though.
You go.
You're not wrong, sir.
On Amazon, it's like $17 right now. Go pick that up. It's good.
I actually had my eye on War of the Worlds, the original. I got a special edition Blu-ray out. Oh my gosh, it looks awesome.
The black and white version, or? Like the original.
I think it's colorized. I think it's colorized.
Is it color?
Was there a black and white version too? Because I know there was you had the Tom Cruise one, obviously, but then you had
Yeah, I'm talking about like the
one-
one from the 50s. I believe wasn't there one from the 50s or the 60s?
you
I
know
believe
what?
it was 50s.
Okay,
I believe so.
I don't have a computer in front of me right now, so
Okay, what? Okay, well, there's War of the Worlds in 1988 as a television series.
hmm
Tell you what,
53.
53.
Yeah.
War of the Worlds, it's a Criterion Blu-ray,
Oh.
$20, dude, and it looks amazing.
Criterions
I mean,
that's
A
gold standard.
Criterion for $20 is not bad.
Yeah, because usually you only get those on Criterion sales for 20, so that's not bad at all. That's the cheapest Criterion you'll ever find because they never go under 20.
It looks so good. So I kind of had my eye on that, but I haven't bought it yet. On to the movies I actually bought. So I picked up Scream Collection. I already said that. I picked up Phantasm,
Oh,
the
Nice.
Anchor Bay edition. I picked that one up from shout out to Brian. Picked that one up from him. Also got a special edition of the 2-disc version of The Mist on DVD.
oh yeah.
And picked up Day of the Dead, the Digimax version. That case is really cool.
It really
That is a
man.
great addition.
Like the little Velcro, the zombie head that opens.
Club head.
Yeah, so cool. So
Love
picked
the
that
zombie.
up. And then what else did I get? I think that's about it. I think that's it. I think that's all I got so far. But yeah, I've been on a roll.
Still a nice haul, man. Really good haul. Quality haul.
Yeah, I think all the other movies I picked up last time I already covered in the last show, like Dark City and
Zombie
Puppet
2.
Master. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sure,
yeah,
cool.
we're definitely gonna talk. We're gonna have to have an episode, a zombie series, so we can talk about that movie.
I wanna have an episode on Italian zombie films, dude. And you need to come over and you need to watch some Italian zombie films.
That's a stacked episode right there.
Speaking of yeah. Speaking of, Brian had another Lucio Fulci movie there. I almost picked up. It was part of a 2-pack though, but it was something with the dead. You own
City
it.
of Living Dead.
I think A City of the Living Dead. Yeah.
Such an awesome
Great
movie,
movie.
man. Such a fantastic movie.
Yeah. It was part of a 2-pack. I can't remember what the other movie was. A little bit on the pricier side, but it was a pretty good condition. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Brian. I actually told him about our podcast. So we need to maybe give him a card or something next time so you can check us out.
Definitely. Let's tell local listeners real quick about Brian. So, if you're in the Columbia area, we have a place here in Columbia called what is it? Barnyard Flea Market? Excuse me. There's number 1 and then Barnyard. Brian is a local guy who has a lot of movies, and if you listen to this podcast about horror films, he specializes in having horror films there. Do you guys actually know what row Brian is actually on?
I actually do, man. It's row F.
Yeah, row F at the Barnyard Flea Market in Columbia,
Like
South Carolina.
if you go through the front, it should be that second row on the left, right, all the way to the end. Correct.
On the left, yep. Very end.
Mm-hmm.
So,
White-haired guy.
first one you see.
White
Can't
hair, blue
listen.
eyes. Yep.
Nicest guy you'll ever talk to at the flea market.
Yep, he definitely is, man.
But
Really
Yeah,
cool.
he knows his stuff about horror films, and even if you just don't want to buy anything that day, just stop in and talk to Brian, and he has some knowledge that you can't even imagine about horror films.
Really does. He's a jack of all trades too, man. He's got a lot of records up there. He's got a lot of just movies in general. Um, if you're into VHS, he's got a ton of those. I mean, he's
Television series.
yeah, his TV series. He's just got it all.
And then if you're in the market for a VCR or something like that, or any kind of retro system, he has stuff like that there too.
He sure does. I brought a record player from him. So yeah, it did.
Guy's got it all.
Got it all, man.
But yeah, that's me. That's what I picked up this week.
Oh yeah, right on, brother. You get a chance to watch anything? You anything?
Yeah. Well, I watched Zombie. There's Zombie 2.
Hell yeah.
So good. I kind of want to save my thoughts for like another episode, but I will say it's one of the most artistic zombie movies I've ever seen. Just the practical effects were amazing. Like the zombie makeup was awesome. You know, the head smashing scenes were great. I love how they didn't, they don't make movies like they used to, and there's just little things in the movie that like nowadays, everyone's a critic. When you watch a movie, everyone wants to break down every little thing about the movie. Sometimes we try too hard to make movies too realistic, and then we end up ruining our experience with the movie. And what I mean is like I had to catch myself because I was kind of like at the end of the movie, I was like, man, they have unlimited ammo. Like they are not running out of ammo. But I had to stop myself because I was like, wait, what am I saying? Like this movie isn't realistic at all. There's freaking zombies everywhere. But it was an interesting zombie movie for sure. I did like how they, the zombies came about from like voodoo rituals. That was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very, it was different because usually it's like a lot of, from what I've noticed anyway, a lot of American zombie movies, is always chalked up to like some sort of virus,
They never take place on a tropical island too. It's just a good setting. Really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Just never seen-
Like zombie,
honestly,
zombie versus shark.
Oh, such killer scene.
that's cool. That's really cool how they shot that and everything. We really need to do an episode on that film, or like I said, Italian zombies in general. Because I could have a field day with even like Burial Ground. I could have a field day with that too.
Burial Ground. Hell yeah.
That's probably one of my, besides Zombie 2, that's probably one of my favorite Italian zombie films right there.
So damn good. So much fun.
Yeah. But back to what you were saying as far as like due to the voodoo rituals and stuff, that's almost kind of like the roots to the zombies, because, what was it? The beliefs of zombies and stuff came from Haiti, right?
Voodoo, yep.
So that's like, that's why I like the film A Serpent and a Rainbow. That's actually a really cool film. Have you guys ever seen that, or Tony? Have you seen it, Tony?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wes Craven, I definitely watch.
Yeah.
I've never seen that one.
It's a pretty good film. It takes a different take and kind of opens your mind to the zombie world of where zombies actually came from and stuff like that.
Takes it back to its roots, really.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many movies there are where people are trying to redefine the zombie genre.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we don't want to have zombies, like these zombies over here were made from voodoo. These zombies were, from a viral infection. These zombies were made in a lab,
Mm-hmm.
So many different ones, man. And then there's so many different like mini subgenres of zombie films.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got zomcoms and they just overdo it with shit. Like it's just they take zombies and they run with it. It's become such a pop culture thing now.
It reminds me, there's a movie on Hulu called Little Monsters. That it sounds great. Like I watched the trailer. Have you guys checked that movie out yet?
But are we talking about the Howie Mandel movie, or what?
I thought he was talking about the Happy Meal movie.
No. Yeah, that's what I thought too. No, it's about a kindergarten teacher on a field trip. They go to a field trip and I think they go to like a corn maze / pumpkin patch, and lo and behold, there's zombies everywhere, and it's a zom-com. Like, it's just supposed to be, really gory but really funny. You
Huh.
know, but it's on Hulu. It looks. I mean, I have to send you a trailer. It
Now, I don't have Hulu, but there's a guy at work that told me about a zombie movie that's on Hulu right now that I actually want to see. It's called The Cured. Have you guys heard of this?
Mm.
mm-mm.
So basically, it's a zombie film where they find the cure of the zombie infection. I guess it's an infect film. It's not really a zombie film, but it's an infect film, kind of like 28 Days Later or whatever. But however, like they find a cure, so they start curing these zombies, and the only symptoms of the cure is that you have every memory of what you did while you were a zombie. So now you're in a fucking depressed state and you just like off yourself and shit. And then not
Wow.
just that, but only like not only that, like apparently the public knows that you were a zombie or whatever. So you're like really mistreated and shit by the public as well.
Oh wow, there's some social
Yeah.
commentary in there,
So,
big time.
yeah, I need to check that out. I don't remember seeing or coming across that one on Hulu. Hulu's
Yeah.
pretty dope, man.
I think he said it was on Hulu, and I think I know it's called The Cured.
Yeah, they
I'm
got
gonna
a.
check. I gotta check it out because it sounds interesting to me.
But I'm looking at the Little Monsters IMDb here. It came out October 11th last year. I watched it. Musician teams up with a teacher and a kids show personality to protect young children from a sudden outbreak of zombies. Starring Josh Gad, Alexander England, and main star Lupita Nyong'o. I think that's how you say it. It's Miss Caroline. So it is a black female protagonist.
Yeah, she was the lead in Us too. Yeah.
Yeah, she played in Us,
Okay.
Black Panther, 12 Years a Slave, Star Wars Episode 8 or 7. Maz Kanata. I don't remember her character in that movie.
Oh,
But yeah, she's a like.
I was gonna say I don't remember her. She voiced the Maz Kanata. So yeah, okay. Because I was thinking like I didn't remember seeing her in that movie, but then it made sense because she does the voice. So
Yeah. So big name actress in a zombie movie. It looks awesome.
she's had quite a career so far. I'd say.
Yeah, very diverse. But I mean, this movie looks super cool. So I definitely want to check it out. Maybe we can have a movie night or something and watch it.
Right on.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Right on, man. What about you, Corey? Did you pick up anything or watch anything this week?
So yeah, basically, I haven't had any time to live.
Had no time to breathe, man.
I've been working, so I haven't picked up anything. I haven't watched anything.
Nah, it's all good.
Yeah, they've been working us like crazy. So I've been working literally 7 days a week. It's insane. I've never worked this long consecutively there, and I've been there 11 years now. So,
Damn.
but it is what it is. Good money. I guess I can buy movies eventually.
There you go.
So like maybe next week or the week after, you're just gonna dump on us like how many movies you've bought with your giant paycheck.
It'll just be one episode of just.
Corey's Hall.
It'll be like a 2-hour long episode of pickups. Yeah, probably. I literally have like 4 trade-ins I need to take to Eric's, and honestly, like I just can't find the time to get to Eric's. I've been talking about it for like 2 weeks now. So, I think the horror pack's coming in maybe next week. So I will have something to talk about next week. But yeah. What about you, Tony? Anything?
As far as watches, I didn't really get too much in this week, unfortunately, but I did get a pickup. Just came in today actually. There's a movie I heard about. I was watching a review for the 31 Days of October, the whole series where people review films, and somebody was reviewing a movie I never even heard of called Dream Demon, and it sounded really, really cool. So I looked it up and tried to, find it on, various movie sources and found a copy and ordered it, and it just came in today. So didn't get a chance to watch it before we started recording. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to watch it sometime this week, and then talk a little bit more about it on the next episode. But it looks cool. It looks like a late '80s like Nightmare on Elm Street kind of not, I wouldn't say rip off, but it kind of has a similar premise with dreams and horrible shit happening, and it's a British film, which made it even more interesting because came out around the same time Hellraiser did. So I'm like, okay, I mean, maybe I can have like a double feature with this and Hellraiser. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, it looks interesting. So yeah, I grabbed that, but that's about it for me as far as pickups. And well, unfortunately, didn't get anything watched. So
Oh yeah.
maybe this week, a little bit more free time.
Right on.
Yeah.
I will say before we get into our main event here, I've come to the I guess conclusion where so basically, we talked about like our holy grails and how long it took to find our holy grails in our collection, right?
Mm.
And you want to find that next one, that one that you're going to be after for a long time. And I think I found it, and that's actually a relatively newer film. And Tony, you and I have actually watched this film together. We've talked about it, but Monster Man.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I can't find a copy. I mean, I can find a copy like on eBay, but
But
it's expensive. I even showed Daniel the other night. Daniel and I were together, and I showed him like where on like eBay it was like $100 and
yeah,
stuff
that's
like that.
pretty dumb.
Insane.
Mm.
What? Here's a question: do you guys have any new holy grails that you're looking for? Something specific that's out of print that's a hard find.
Mm,
I actually found one. Had one today. I found I was watching an episode of Red Letter Media, what they were doing, best of the worst, and they had there was one from a couple years ago where they had reviewed Undefeatable, and Undefeatable was basically this really cheesy 80s martial arts film starring Cynthia Rothrock, who was kind of like a B-rated actress. She was a really good martial artist, but she just didn't get the time of day because this was back in, where we had Stallone and Schwarzenegger, and then eventually, I don't know, Chuck Norris, So a lot of like the macho dudes and they were driven by an audience of men. So like she didn't really get that much of a time of day. But this movie here is kind of infamous because it's got just a lot of cheesy dialogue and just funny fight scenes. The one of the fight scenes at the end was actually featured on like a couple of highlight like reels on YouTube and stuff for like bad martial arts fights. And I'm sure you've seen it. It's the one with like the two muscular dudes rip their shirts off, and the bad guy ends up getting his eyes caught on this hook.
Oh,
Yeah, like it's it's brutal. But it's a ridiculous movie. But I looked it up today, and there's very limited print of it on DVD from what I've seen so far. So I think it's kind of a tough one to find. This was actually 93, not 80s, but still, it was like right there.
it's kind of more modern. Yeah.
Yeah. But I found a DVD copy of it on Amazon, but it was kind of steep, man. It was, I think the one I found was almost $100.
Mm.
And I don't know. I really want this movie for my collection now.
I don't blame you.
My other than that, like for the longest time, it was the Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. Like I couldn't find the movie anywhere. And then just browsing Amazon, I found out they have a Blu-ray release of it. Didn't know that.
That's gotta be new if I'm not mistaken, because I think I even went on Amazon looking for you one time and I didn't see it on Blu-ray. So
Yeah, I think it is. So prayers do get answered.
Off the top of my head, though, man, I can't think of really newer. There's so many like older um, films that I try to hunt down and try to find that are really, really out of print that I can't think of any newer ones, maybe except for a couple of indie films that had a limited run that they're not pressing anymore. So, but off the top of my head, I can't think of it. Monster Man's one of them, though. I always check on that one to see if the price has gone down, and it never has. So,
well, I mean, when Daniel and myself went on eBay and we were looking, there was a couple that were for like $30, and then there was a couple that were for like $20, but they were all used. The one that was $100 was brand new, still sealed, and I've been keeping my eye on that one. That one's been on there continuously. So, but
yeah, you worry about those because I'm sure you look down and it says the condition's like good, and you're like, no, I can't. I don't want to chance that.
Mhm.
Never want to chance that.
good.
Looks like it.
It's in
Yeah.
your favor.
It's like if you go to a flea market and those people have like boxes and boxes of movies, but they all look like they've been sitting in the sun for years.
Oh, sun-dried cases are the
Oh.
fucking
The
worst.
sun baked. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Mhm.
pick it up and it's like, oh, this is a great movie. Too bad the fucking case is warped. I have to have a good case. So when I buy a movie, not only am I looking at the disc, I'm also looking at the case as well. Because I mean, it is a part of a collection.
Yeah, exactly.
know?
As a collector, you want good condition. Like that's what you strive for. Put in your collection is something that's in good condition. The disc has to be in good condition. The jacket, the case, like all of it has to be in good condition.
Yes. And like Daniel knows, I have a pure hatred towards snapper cases. Because
You do.
fuck snapper cases.
That's another one. Ready to Rumble was another movie that I owned. I bought it for $4 at Manifest years ago. It's Snapper Case. I go on Amazon to look to see if they have like maybe a re-release of it or something. No, it's the same Snapper Case, but I guess they never like reissued it. So you're paying $20 for a Snapper Case. I asked Corey, I was like, would you pay $20 for a Snapper Case for a movie you really wanted? He's like, no.
Probably $5 on a snapper case.
Honestly, you know why I have a pure hatred. It boils down to something simple. So years ago I had a movie. Actually, it was Three Amigos. You remember that movie, Chevy Chase?
Oh yeah.
And a little bit of water got on the case, and it fucking destroyed that case. And I was like, not gonna do it, never again. And that was it. That's why I have a pure hatred. Exactly.
Yeah, it's all cardboard.
It's a cool concept. It really is. It's a really great concept because I mean, some of the artwork on those cases are actually pretty nice looking. I mean, you look at the Nightmare on Elm Street box set. All those cases are snapper cases.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's why they sit very high up on my shelf, so no liquids will touch them. I have 3 kids, so liquids go everywhere.
I have the Snapper Case of Gremlins 2, and I really like that. I really like that one. It just feels, aged. You know what I mean? Like it feels like if you were to buy a DVD back in like instead of it going to VHS, like if it had went to DVD back in the day, it just feels like that's what you would get. You know what I mean? Yeah, plus it's got that old cover of the gremlin in the chair with a cigar and Gizmo in the box right beside him. So it's like the old poster art.
I actually love that case. That's a pretty cool case.
Yeah. So
I will say that. But I mean, just snapper cases just do not do it for me.
Yeah, when you get a sticker on them, you're gonna like tear the artwork. It's gonna happen. Like you can't get the sticker off without tearing it up.
You really are. And again, back to my point, you can't put because Gooby Gone is like gold to my collection because I can't stand the sticker on my boxes.
Dude, I got a couple of bottles of Gooby Gone too. Like you have to.
Exactly. You sit there and you scrub them, and you can't put that on those cases because you will ruin the artwork. And Manifest, and probably FYE was really bad about this, putting stickers on those cases.
Yeah, dude, they
Mhm.
would stack, like, depending on their sales, they would stack stickers on top of stickers. So you had like layers of them on the case, like, and you had to. It
Yeah.
was a pain in the ass to peel all that off.
GameStop
Yes.
was the worst too.
Terrible.
Ugh, who else? Second Charles. Second
Second
Charles.
Second and Charles, for some reason, okay, Second and Charles, I don't know what kind of fucking tape they fucking use to tape their shit closed, but that is the worst fucking adhesive tape I have ever dealt with in my life. Like, as soon as I start to peel it away from even just plastic cases, like old Anchor Bay cases, I am destroying the shit out of them. There's no way around it.
Can we greenlight a movie where about killer adhesive stickers?
Let's do it.
As you're trying to peel it off, it like gets on your skin and like symbiotes into your pores.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, that would be cool. Like a tape that you get on your skin that you can't get the adhesive off unless you rip your skin off. That's
Fuck yeah, dude. Turned it into like a body melt movie.
Oh,
Sick.
a body peel movie.
Or body peel movie. There you go.
Yeah.
The tagline could be like, Gooby Gone won't even help this situation.
I think we can get budget for like a 90-minute movie with all about that. And at the very end on the credits, before any of the names pop up, just big letters. Fuck you, Second Charles.
Well, good night.
That's great.
All right. You guys ready to get into this?
Let's do this. Let's do it.
All right. So the movie we're tackling on this podcast today is Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978. It's a remake of the 1956 version. And it takes place, well, basically the plot is it involves a San Francisco health inspector and his colleague who discover that humans are being replaced by alien duplicates. Each is a perfect copy of the person replaced, only devoid of human emotion. And it takes place in San Francisco, man, which I just made a note of. I just enjoy the hell out of film shot in San Francisco. I don't know what it is about it, but just that setting. It's kind of like New York too, in the same way. Like if a movie takes place in San Francisco, it really feels like it, and you get like a sense of the city, and it's really
a good 70s, 80s film from that area, whether it be from New York or San Francisco, it grabs the grittiness of that area, and it really captures it well.
I agree completely, man. That's why I just wanted to make a note, like, oh man, as soon as the movie started and you saw like every like shot of San Francisco and everything like that, I love that shit. Really, really enjoy the hell out of it. There's another movie that I think of every time I think of like shot in San Francisco called The Manitou, which is such a fucking fun movie. But it also takes place in San Francisco, and it's cool, man. You have shots of the trolley and all that, San Francisco is known for, and they include it, and it's so cool. Just enjoy the hell out of it. But yeah, and even then too, the cast in this movie is fucking incredible. It's loaded with amazing actors. I mean, it's insane. And
Even has some like interesting cameos too.
Yeah, you really do. Like even oh, sorry, Frosty, go ahead, man.
No, that's fine. I was just gonna say the very beginning of the film, you see this priest swinging on the swing,
which is creepy.
Yeah, it's like very ominous, very creepy, and so kind of gives off the vibes that's maybe a pod person. They don't really confirm that, but then they have this really cool first person shot of like this camera going back and forth like you're on the swing. Come to find out, reading through the trivia here on IMDb, that's Robert Duvall.
It is.
and Robert Duvall just randomly in a cameo, dressed as a priest on a playground swing.
He did not get paid for that cameo either. I think I think production like gave him a jacket, and that's all that was given to him for that cameo. He just got a jacket.
Gosh.
Did he just want to
Jacket?
be? I kind of wondered, like, did he just want to be part of production there, or how did that go? You know?
I'm not quite sure. I'm not 100% on that, but I think he was shooting another movie around San Francisco at the time, and he just so happened to be there, and he just popped in for a cameo. So, yeah, I'm not 100% on that. I skimmed through, the trivia on that, but
Still pretty cool.
the fact that Robert Duvall just makes like a quick, few second cameo is just pretty neat.
Yeah.
All right, Robert, you're a priest on a swing. Action!
Go.
What do you want me to say? Nothing. Don't say anything.
Absolutely
Just
not.
look creepy.
Just give a menacing glare at the lady walking by.
Which even the intro to the movie I really dug, because it really threw threw me back to like late 50s, late to late 60s, like, opening sci-fi scenes and stuff like that. I don't know why, I just got a really just amazing feel for that when the credits rolled and we saw, the opening credits. It was really cool.
You basically see the aliens in like their purest form.
Yeah, you do.
Because they're plant-based aliens, right? That take over, take over plants basically, and spread that way. And so we see like they're kind of floating through the air. It's kind of, looks kind of like cotton candy, like.
Really.
Like when you first see cotton candy being made, but it's like kind of floating, so it's like this misty, cloudy looking stuff, and and then you got the eerie sci-fi music playing. I know we kind of touched on the soundtrack of the movie in our last episode, but again, this movie had a pretty dope soundtrack from a composer who literally worked so hard to make it, he just gave up. Like he's like, one and done, baby. That's me. Which is a shame because I would have liked to see more of his work, but yeah, I'm with you there. The intro is very interesting, and then it does good to like transition straight into to the streets of San Francisco. So you basically go from like the aliens' home planet straight to Earth, and it's kind of like, it's almost seamless.
It really is. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, I know kind of off subject, and you kind of got me thinking about it. How you talked about one done and everything. Tony, so Buddy Cooper did The Mutilator, right?
Yep.
And that was pretty much a one and done film. Have you heard that they're doing a sequel to that film?
Yeah, I did actually, not too long ago too.
Okay.
Thought
Yeah,
that was
I've been in contact with Buddy Cooper, and I talked with him a little bit, or at least whoever runs the group of the Mutilator, and he said that that just to be looking out for something from summer of next year. So,
never thought in a million years that would happen. That's wild. It really is.
that's
When I first heard about it, I
fucking
just
cool.
I was like, really?
I think it
That's
was
a
an
film?
eye opener from all the conventions that he did. He was like, "Oh shit, people love this movie."
Yeah.
Something, I don't know, but yeah. Okay, back on to what Daniel was saying. Sorry.
Hell, I don't remember what I was saying.
Well, go ahead, bud.
Well, I was going to say, interesting thing about this movie too. It's rated PG, and so we see for its time, like movies were very different then. And I was just looking. Philip Kaufman, the director, was also a writer for Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was another movie which back then had I think had a G rating originally.
Yeah.
Their goal was to have a G rating, but I don't know if it ended up changing or if they ended up having to bump it to a PG or what because of the death scene at the end with the Ark.
Yeah. Nazi face melt.
Nazi face melt, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. It definitely is. Movies were definitely the rating system was a little skewed back then. So
yeah,
the fact that movies like this got the rating that they did is just like really wow.
yeah. So
Different era, different time.
yeah. I mean, this movie got a PG, and there's a brutal decapitation scene, and then there's nudity. Which I feel gypped because I could have totally watched this movie when I was a kid.
Yeah, no kidding.
So yeah, so the thing about it is this film is actually very nostalgic for me because this was a film that I actually did watch as a kid. My mom actually turned me onto this film at a very young age. So yeah, everything about this film. One of the things that I kind of wanted to highlight um, was the way the pod people came and stuff. That was really cool. But there's a scene in the film that actually always freaked me out. This is where the homeless man, I guess, like fell asleep with his dog. I think the pod got kicked or something, and it basically mutated into a dog's body, but a human's head.
Human dude, that scene is so creepy, man. It's
Yeah.
so out there, man. It really is.
That's
Like-
the scene that freaked me out as a child. Like this whole movie was great to me as a child. I think I was like 8 or 9 years old watching this film for the first time and loving this film. But that scene freaked the shit out of me.
Creepier scenes in the movie.
What's funny about that scene is they were trying to blend in. And they were walking and they were trying to blend in, and that dog runs up, starts barking, and they're like, "All right, the jig is up." They just hauled ass.
Yeah, they're like, fuck this thing. I mean, to be honest with you, now day and age, if I seen that, I would probably laugh. Like, what the fuck is that?
It's 2020. You can't phase me.
Yeah, I got it written down in my notes too. The dog with the human face, very, very, very creepy.
Yeah.
And I can imagine
Very,
being
very cool how they accomplished that.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if that was practical effect or CGI. I don't know if that was a puppet or what, but very cool.
Yeah,
I'd actually like to know if that was a puppet or CGI. I don't think that was CGI, was it? 'Cause
No.
they didn't have CGI back then.
definitely not. That's practical, all practical.
How the hell did they accomplish that? Because that was realistic looking. I mean,
It's
if
pretty.
Animatronic head on a dog. The dog can't see where it's running.
that's why it was flailing around. I don't know.
That's right.
But it was a pretty cool scene though.
Yeah, it was. I love that scene in particular. So good. And I love the fact that, like you guys said, that's the out that they have. Like they were blending in with the pod people. They were, just getting by on pretending like they had no emotions whatsoever. And then as soon as that happened, like they all started, like, nope, out, we're done. And the girl started screaming and they all started chasing. It's so good. So it's a scene that's creepy, but serves a purpose to the narrative too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well put.
So, this movie, one thing I noticed, this movie had a lot of good setup, like it wasn't all over the place. It was very, they did a great job of sticking to their narrative. You know what I mean? Like, granted, I mean, it was a remake, a retelling of a classic movie, sure, but just the way they had handled it, like this, I thought the pacing was great because it to me this kind of exudes infect film, in a way, because granted, I mean, it's not the aliens are replacing, the human beings. And so, I thought they did a good job too of like just of explaining what happens to the original bodies, because the whole time while watching the movie, because I hadn't seen this movie in years, I was like, what happens to the original body? You know what I mean? But they do a good job of explaining that, So, it's very vegetation like too, because once the plants make the doppelgangers, the original bodies who have been infected of these pores just kind of like wither and die, like you would see a plant.
Exactly.
So I thought that was really cool.
Very, very cool.
But yeah, like there was this, it was almost seamless whenever you see, because everyone seems normal, then out of nowhere, it's like, oh, wait, everyone's a pod person, and even, Leonard Nimoy's character, Dr. David Kibner, when they introduce his character, he's very emotional, very affectionate towards the woman who's, crying over her husband. My husband's not who he says he is. And then the next time you see him, he's very devoid of, of emotions. Or rather, maybe the third time you see him, because they're trying to explain to him about the pod people when he doesn't believe it. And then the next time you see him, he's like, oh, lo and behold, he's one of them, So
yeah,
I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the director, and I made a note of this too. The director finds a way. This movie like hits the ground running. It gets going really fast. Like it does not take its time, even though it's a longer movie. Like to Frosty's point, the pacing is really good. Like I find myself invested in this movie when I watch it, and he just has a good way of showing that people are just becoming like empty shells of themselves when they're basically replicated, and it's very well done. You get a sense just from watching the backgrounds and the extras and stuff that they're just completely devoid of all emotion. They look stoic. They're not showing anything, and I think he does a fantastic job of purveying that on screen. I mean, it's awesome the way he was able to accomplish that. It's a very well directed movie. There's quite a few scenes in here that are really memorable. One scene in particular I wouldn't say a scene, it's a sequence, but the mud bath sequence, like everything that happens in the mud bath, that shit is awesome. Like it's so cool. Everything about it's unsettling. It's especially with Jeff Goldblum going fucking crazy and just doing shit that Jeff Goldblum does. I mean, he's so fucking to his character too. I just loved his character. Every time he would do something, I would just fucking die. I would laugh, because there's one scene, and me and Corey kind of talked about a little bit earlier, where our main character is talking on the phone to the police to let them know what happened, like that there was an incident that happened, and he's just talking over him the whole time he's trying to talk to the cops, and he's just like, dude, like settle down, just give me a minute, I'm on the phone, but he just keeps talking over him.
Talking shit about Dr. Kibner.
Yeah, he's so fucking rude in that whole sequence. Like, he really is. He's just so rude in that whole sequence. Like, he just doesn't know how to shut it off.
He really doesn't. He just keeps going and going and going. And they basically have to push him aside, like get him out of there. But
we need to touch on Jeff Goldblum for a minute. So you were talking about Jeff Goldblum, and so I mean he's dabbled in some cinema in his lifetime, but
absolutely.
But to be a part of this film, and then to be a part of The Fly, great career choices in his part, especially for someone to have a direct taste to something. You see him in more sci-fi films than anything, so he almost tries to be in some remakes and stuff, and it works for him.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you think about the greatest remakes of all time, I always think of The Thing. I think of, for me, The Fly and The Blob, and then I think of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I think of this movie right here. I think those four to me are some of the best remakes of all time.
Right.
And the fact that he was in two of them says something. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I always like Jeff Goldblum. I always love his eccentricness and just the way he is in general, and he always brings that with his performances. So just to see him in anything, I've seen him in. There's another movie that he makes a small kind of appearance in called The Sentinel, which is a fucking amazing movie.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a '70s movie as well. It's a horror film, but it just every time he's in something, I just like Jeff Goldblum. Like he's gonna be Jeff Goldblum, and it's gonna be he's gonna shine on screen just because he is who he is. So he does have a good line in here too when Dr. Kipner says something about friends and stuff like that. Well, he's like, I don't have any friends. It's just the way he says it and the way he delivers it. It's like it's kind of bleak, but then again, it's Jeff Goldblum, so you kind of like chuckle a little bit because it's him. So, there's a lot of good stuff with him in this too. And he plays it kind of straight. He really does, but in a way, it's just the way he is that just makes it funny. I don't know.
I really love his character in this film. I mean, just overall, in general. I mean, like you said, the eccentricness of him, the just the obnoxiousness of him, in this film works. It really does.
He's definitely a standout.
I think it was perfect for casting of this film.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
Also, not the only one that played in David Cronenberg movies. He did play in The Fly. We also had Art Hindle in The Brood and Brooke Adams in Dead Zone.
I was going to talk about.
He was in The Brood?
Yeah, no, Art Hindle was in The Brood.
Oh, Art Hindle. Okay.
Yeah, who plays the boyfriend of our other lead that becomes replicated fairly early in the movie. Yeah, he's awesome. I love it. He's a Black Christmas. He's in so much. I mean, he's a fun actor. And every time I see him, that's another one I go to. It's like, hey, Art Hindle, he's in this. That's cool. But he was effective in this movie as well.
Yes.
Just being void of any emotion, and you don't really get a lot of like acting from him because his character early on is replicated, so he has no emotion. But he does a pretty good job of just being just a void of a person. So.
I like how early on in the film it kind of shows the audience instantly that this guy, changed.
Yeah.
It wasn't like almost immediately you seem that something's off as the audience in this film. It wasn't just all of a sudden we need to backtrack and throw this in. This film was put together very well and pieced together very well to where you could follow it and know exactly what's happening. It wasn't pieced together, going, oh shit, I need to explain this. I need to explain that.
Well, movies nowadays, they do that too much. They want to go back and try to explain it because people didn't follow, but
they try to over-explain.
Right. And we learned that whenever she picked the little petals off and brought them home, like that's what allowed them to take over his body.
Yep.
Because we know that they were, infecting the vegetation. So they never explained that, but it was implied. They did have a good way of showing it, especially when they had like the zoom out scene from the jar that the petals were in.
Yep. All you need is that one effective shot, and that pervades it for the audience. And I love that about filmmaking, especially then.
Right.
Because they do that quite often.
Like now you'd have a 20-minute scene explaining what happened.
Right. You'd have backstory to this, that. I mean, it'd just be too much. So, another thing I wanted to bring up was there's scenes in this film that they just make you feel disoriented. And I think that's really well done as well. Because I mean, when he is in, he's just like losing his mind over, making these calls and this and that, and then you get the shots of the city and the people around. It does a really good job of disorienting the audience, and I think that's really effective for the what's going on in the narrative.
You don't know what's real, what's not. You don't know, or you don't know who's a pod person.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And just the way the camera work is done, and it just really, you get a strong feeling of disorientation, and I think it's really it's an important part of what the director and what the movie's trying to convey to the audience is that you just don't know, and I think they handled that brilliantly.
Yeah, I agree. So, a lot of cameos in this movie too. Apparently, Philip Kaufman had a cameo. I believe he was just waiting for Donald Sutherland's character to get done with the payphone or something.
Yeah.
He was like standing behind him or something. So he had a small cameo. That was pretty neat. The most notable cameo was probably what's his name? Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original.
The original. The man running through the streets, screaming, "You're next." Which actually, there's a lot of fan theories that this is a sequel to the original. That Kevin McCarthy's character plays the same character, and he's still running from the pod people, warning everybody of the incoming threat. After all this time, but I mean, it's really just it's supposed to just be meant as a nod to the original and a cameo, you know. But
that's an interesting point, though, man. That's why I like fan theories, because they come up with shit like that, and you're just like, huh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I love fan theories.
Yeah, here's an interesting little piece too on Kevin McCarthy. While rehearsing his cameo, apparently a naked homeless man recognized him and said, "The first one was better." Not only is the man homeless, he was naked, and then he's gonna talk shit about the remake, which is arguably one of the best remakes ever.
Exactly. Little does he know this would turn out to be one of the best remakes of all time.
I actually prefer this one.
I do too, honestly.
I've seen it's not only a remake, but there's a remake of a remake.
Oh yeah.
What was it? Invasion with Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, it's been done a couple times.
Yeah, I don't even think I've even watched it.
Yeah, this to me is, like I said, I have watched the original and I really do enjoy the original, but to me this movie surpasses it for me personally. Well, I'm not saying it's a better movie. I'm just saying I like it more.
Well, as a standalone, it's decent for what it is. It's actually really good for what it is.
Absolutely, man. There's just so much going on in this movie, and you get so invested in it, you don't even realize the running time's a little bit longer because it's well paced. It's just you really become invested in the story.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know where it's going, especially if you've never seen it before. It's got you transfixed in what's going on. So, and I love the effects in this movie too, man. They're so good when the pods start like dropping the replicated, it's awesome looking, man.
It really is.
Like, it really look for the time, for 78. I gotta think, like, Dawn of the Dead came out in 78 as well, and look at the effects, dude. Like, when you just think about it in that context, it's like, wow, they really did I don't know who did the effects, but they did a fucking awesome job.
One of my favorite scenes though is where I forget the doctor's name, but he falls asleep in the, I don't know, is it a courtyard or his backyard or whatever?
No, yeah, he's on asleep. I know what you're talking about.
A lawn chair, and his hand just lays in the grass. And the scene where the pods just come to life, and they start replicating, everyone in the house that's asleep.
Yep. That's the scene in particular I'm talking about with the effects, man. The effects on the replicated look fucking awesome. They really do. The way
the vines just get to his hand and everything just blows my fucking mind. That's all practical effects.
All of that was practical. It's fucking awesome looking.
Yes, it's brilliant.
And we had wondered like how they did it. Like did they film it backwards? Did they, or rather, did they film it and then play it backwards? Was it stop motion? Yeah, it didn't look like stop motion.
I think honestly they filmed it backwards. They had to have. I think
I mean, it looked really cool.
It did.
it really did.
So
Very gnarly. There's a couple of those. There's a couple of them that I'm like, oh shit, that is fucking creepy as hell. Like just looking at it, look like a grown fetus. It looked weird. It's just so fucking weird. So I'm like,
the head smash scene,
yeah, dude,
was really good. And let's go back again. This movie was rated PG when it came out. And not only did we see Brooke Adams naked, which the screenshot for her, she's fully clothed, but in the scene where she's actually pointing, she is naked in the movie. PG. But so yeah, you had a head smash scene during that whole scene we were just talking about. Stephen King actually referenced that scene in his book, Dance Macabre, which is basically a memoir about Stephen King, and he had mentioned that scene and talked about how brutal it was. So, and it was a good one. It was pretty nasty, but
it was pretty gnarly. So, and I love that he bypassed all the other clones and went straight for his clone when he didn't do Elizabeth's clone. Like he saw that one and he kind of had a moment where he's like, I can't, and then he went straight for his and just went fucking ham on it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
What did he use? A shovel or a hoe?
Shovel. Yeah, it was like a shovel.
It was gnarly.
It was gnarly. And the line too. Whenever I think of the movie, I think of the line where he's on the phone with the police and they say, Mr. Bonnell, and he's like, how do you know that? I didn't tell you my name. How do they know my name? That line is just so classic. It's so classic. I've heard it on so many like bests of like horror dialogue scenes. Like that one always comes into play.
That was a good one. Yeah. So a lot of interesting trivia in this movie too, or just if you go on IMDb, you look at the trivia section. There's a lot of really cool facts about this movie. Just to kind of zoom through a few here. So apparently Donald Sutherland was hit by a Volkswagen Beetle while filming a shot of Matthew and Elizabeth running. He fell into the windshield and was able to see the driver saying, "Oh my God, not you." Leonard Nimoy apparently wore this leather glove for the sole purpose of making his character more distinctive and recognizable. He said he got the idea from a friend who wore it to cover a burn on his hand.
Which is funny in retrospect because he's Spock, so he really doesn't need to do too much to be recognized. It's just memorable just because he is Spock.
Exactly. So at around 1 hour and 24 minutes during the taxi ride, Donald Sutherland and Brooke Adams' nervousness is genuine. Don Siegel had lost much of his vision and was driving through the dark streets of San Francisco without his glasses.
So, another cameo by the director of the original movie.
Yeah, but how funny is that? It's like, yeah, let's get this old bastard in here. He's blind. Let's let him ride our actors around the dark streets of San Francisco. Hope he doesn't kill anyone.
What's the worst could happen?
Kill the two leads.
Producer Robert H. Solo mentioned in the book they're here. Brooke Adams, Jeff Goldblum, and Leonard Nimoy were each paid $25,000 for their role, while Donald Sutherland was paid somewhere between $200,000 to $300,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Donald Sutherland got paid more than Leonard Nimoy in a sci-fi movie.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, according to the you mentioned this earlier. According to the commentary on the DVD, director Philip Kaufman said they paid Robert Duvall by giving him an Eddie Bauer jacket.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
it.
that is funny.
Just give me a jacket. I'll do your damn movie.
I'll be your priest for a day.
Right.
Just give me a jacket and a bag of Chico sticks.
You know what?
I'm gonna swing on the swing.
Nah, this is 78. Probably were their originals. Among the sounds Ben Burt used for the pod growing scene, the heartbeat came from an ultrasound recorded on his pregnant wife. The pod
Wow.
screams were recorded pig squeals. Additionally, the natural diegetic sounds, crickets, birds chirping, fade as the film progresses until only mechanical sounds such as sirens, garbage trucks are heard. Interesting.
That's cool.
Yep. Elizabeth's nude scene in the factory was also filmed with clothes. That was seen when the film debuted on ABC in 1980. It's amazing women being topless was casually integrated into PG movies back in 78. No one batted an eye these days. That scene would have gotten an R for sure. That's actually how they worded it. Interesting. We talked about Denny Zealand, which I still think is very interesting. You come up with like such a cool sound for this sci-fi movie and just say, I'm burnt out. I'm done. The night after the movie's release, someone put pods like those in the movie all over the streets of LA. Some people got freaked out. They thought they were real and called the police.
That's cool because that's kind of like the era of like, where they did things where they almost interacted with the cinema. So
Yeah.
like for instance, like Rocky Horror Picture Show, they were told to bring squirt guns and dress up and stuff like that, so that there was audience participation while they were, I guess, viewing the film, because they were told to throw the hot dogs at one scene. They were told to squirt the squirt guns at one scene. They were told to shout a certain word at one scene, stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of wish that I grew up in that era where we could interact with the film, while it was being played on the big screen.
Yeah, basically, use that William Castle gimmick that he used to use back in the day. Like, yeah, pretty much use that. And that got, like, really, really heavy audience participation and really, really got them more invested in the movie. It's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had there was a teacher at Swansea who I think used to go see Rocky Horror Picture Show when he came out, and they did the whole dressing up and all. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Miss Flaherty. That sounds like a Miss Flaherty thing. Brooke Adams challenged Donald Sutherland to a foot race during one of the film's immediate chase scenes. After Philip Kaufman yelled "cut," they just kept going. Adams won in a dress and high heels, no less. That's really cool. Veronica Cartwright also appeared in The Invasion 2007, which is a 2007 adaptation of the story. She and Kevin McCarthy have both been in 2 versions of the story.
She was also fantastic. Like, her performance was really good.
Mm-hmm.
She really was. She played an alien.
Yeah.
She played in X-Files. She was in a lot of sci-fi stuff.
She was in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, she's always remembered for being an alien.
Right. All right. Well, here's an interesting one. Pod people, quote unquote, became a catchphrase because of this movie and its predecessor, but that phrase is never actually used by any of the characters in any of the Invasion movies. But I could have swore they used that phrase.
I thought I heard it too, but
Unless it's like, what's it called? The Mandela effect?
yeah, the Mandela effect. That's what I'm thinking.
Or like you think you heard it, but
I could have sworn I heard it too, but it's mainly probably because there was just odds involved. So I that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bears Seen Bears. That's a popular one that gets brought up.
That's what I always hear about.
Hmm. Like when I found out about it, it really changed my life. Makes you feel like you're living in the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's the other one? The one with Sinbad when they thought he was in Kazam, or he thought he was in his own genie movie, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
He thought he was?
No, everybody thought that
Oh.
or because he did like a skit or something in a genie costume or something, and then everybody just was like, "Oh, he was in that movie Kazam." He's like, "No, Neil was in Kazam." And they're
Yeah,
like,
that was the other guy.
"Yeah." So that's another one that gets brought up a lot.
Mm. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
One
that
of
one's
my
out.
favorite movies
Yeah.
growing up too.
I am, cause I am.
That dude made cheeseburgers rain.
Mhm.
Dude, can you imagine being a kid and having that power, like having a genie to do that? Like, oh my god.
I went back and watched that movie recently.
I just want to be a kid with Shaq in my life at that point. That would be fun.
Hey, you gotta have superpowers. Just be Shaq.
Yeah.
How about the little fight scene in the warehouse at the end where he grabs a handful of that dude's ass, just throws him. I don't think it was intentional, but like he definitely got some cavity action.
Hell yeah. That's good.
He troll tossed that dude through his sphincter.
Yeah, he fucked up that whole warehouse, man. That was awesome to see that. That was a great way to like tail into the end. Like it was seeing that shit. I was so fixated on everything that was going on. It was insane. Much happening.
Are we talking about Kazam still?
That's another show. Kazam show. Like,
we're gonna have to do a review on Kazam.
yeah, I was about to say it doesn't really fit our format, but
It's happening. Yeah, so Donald Sutherland just goes crazy and tries to basically just destroy this I guess this headquarters of where these aliens are meeting. And apparently
It's where the pods are being produced, right? So it's like almost like a factory.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's where they're meeting. These pods are getting made. At this point, it's just an assembly line of these aliens taking over. Mm-hmm. And he realizes that, and it's him versus hundreds of these pod people. Yeah, at this point, we don't know how far it's reached. We know a lot of most of San Francisco's taken over at this point.
Yeah, but it gives off, so it shows that at the end, or close to the end, it's showing that tankers are being filled with these things. Like, so ships are being filled with these things. So these are now getting exported everywhere,
Yeah.
So, or I guess imported everywhere. But so it's taken over the world at this point. It's out of his reach. It's out of his control.
Yeah.
It's happening.
And apparently Donald Sutherland insisted on doing his own stunts there, and I believe he ended up almost getting hurt. I know from what I was reading, I think one of the guys that actually did end up getting really badly hurt during that scene. Which, I mean, when in Rome, when everyone's doing their own stunts.
So
it's like I do not feel for the extras of Jackie Chan movies.
No, because they know what they're getting themselves into.
Those guys got so messed up.
They're signing up for.
Yeah. But so yeah, so we're closing to the movie. He is getting chased by the people, and then he's hiding under this bridge, so you assume he's safe. And then the next scene, he's walking down the street, and Veronica Cartwright's character, finds him, Nancy, and
Mhm.
she confronts him, and you assume he's walking, trying to blend in. Lo and behold, he is one of them. He apparently did get caught, and one of the coolest endings.
Yeah, man. Such a fucking good ending. Such a downbeat down, and it's my thing. Like I love downbeat, really
Plus,
depressing.
it almost
Yeah,
shows you that there's just no hope
yeah,
whatsoever.
that's kind of shit. I love that shit. So I love that fucking ending. So it worked for me. No happy endings on this, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
But and then the face that he makes, and then the noise and everything that's become like a meme. Like
Hmm.
it's everywhere. Like I see that shit everywhere. So it lives on in infamy. Let's just say.
Hmm. So great movie. I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, go check it out. I'd love to get the Screen Factory edition. It's
It
kind of steep.
it
Um,
is.
they do
Daniel,
they do have it on Amazon for like $10. So
real quick, Daniel, you were talking about uh in that movie, uh it was written to where the ending she didn't know that he had actually turned, correct?
oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. So
Yeah,
apparently only Donald Sutherland and Philip Kaufman knew. Maybe one other person knew that it was that he was going to be turned. That he was going to be a pod person. Veronica Cartwright her character Nancy didn't know that he had turned. So when she confronts him, like her reaction was kind of genuine.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Whenever he reveals that he's a pod person. So
and the cool thing about that is we just recently talked about this where we watched a film and I think I brought it up where the director we watched The Descent. All three of us actually watched that together, and I brought the fact that the director, I think only the director and the actors knew that they weren't allowed to see the creatures until the initial first scene where they see the creatures, so they get a genuine reaction. And that happened here in this film as well, where the director and only the actor knew of that scene, so the other actors didn't know how to react in the scene, so the reaction was genuine
yeah,
on film.
Mm.
and that always fascinated me too. And that was a big thing back in like the '70s and '80s, especially how they were, they were trying so many things, and I think that's why movies were just so genuine and so much better back then because
Yeah.
of the risk they took. And
Yeah.
granted, I mean, it probably kind of crosses that line of
Yeah. Yeah.
they probably need to double down in their HR department, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Actors get paid so much nowadays. They couldn't get away with that shit.
Yeah,
They just
like
could.
it's like Stanley Kubrick would never be able to film a movie now.
No. How
um,
Hollywood is.
yeah, but not extra. Excuse. Poltergeist was another one. They did a lot of crazy like that. The filming of that movie had a lot of crazy shit happen.
Yeah.
Like the little girl. She had pneumonia or something. Did she die post
She did. She
post
died.
filming?
She died after the third one. Yeah, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was part of the Poltergeist curse, man. There's a lot of actors that
Yeah.
away from that movie just because they did some really shady shit. Like
Mhm.
they used real skeletons in the pool, like that pool scene at the end. Like they used
Yeah.
that's shit that you couldn't do that nowadays. There's just no way.
Yeah. Why the hell? Why would you want to use those skeletons?
They used real skeletons, man. It's fucked up.
You're like, you sure? You can get plastic ones. I mean, we can make them look.
They float a little bit easier.
Spielberg's like, I don't want no fucking plastic skeletons in my ghost movie.
Oh, real deal.
Well, for sure, I got plastic skeletons here. I mean,
Are you
say
sure?
the word. You say the word, boss. I'll make them look. I'll make them look good. I mean,
Yeah, I'm damn sure because I made fucking Jaws. Okay.
I'll tell you what you do with that plastic skeleton. Shove it up your ass. That's what you do.
was I wasn't allowed to use a real shark.
You're damn right. I'm gonna use
I had to
skeletons
use a
this time.
styrofoam shark.
Yeah.
No, but in all actuality, there's any film really is affiliated with certain things, and of course, horror films in general. You get the eerie sense of, oh man, that person died while they were shooting that film. I mean, it takes it back to Rose Red. I believe there was an incident on Rose Red where
Whoa, I didn't know that.
there was so supposedly there was I don't think it was an actor or anything like that. I think it was somebody behind the scenes, like part of the crew or something, but they found him dead on set. And it was due to like a massive heart attack or some shit like that. I forget the exact story, but I know there was a death affiliated with that film, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I believe I remember hearing something about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but it's just all of a sudden somebody affiliates. There's a death along with a horror film. It must be a part of that horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the most famous one is the Twilight Zone movie. Like when Vic Morrow, the actor, and a couple of the two, I think it was two child actors died when the helicopter they were in, I think it crashed on them and it killed them, and it really did kill them. So there was a big uproar about that scene and that movie in particular. So yeah, that was really
Wow.
sad. Yeah, it was really sad. But I mean, that's the way. I mean, it was flying by the seat of your pants filmmaking. I mean, things like this happened, and it was very unfortunate.
hmm
But that's the one I think of all the time when I think of like Onset. And of course, everyone thinks of like the Brandon Lee thing.
Oh
That's
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Obviously.
everybody knows that one. But I mean, stuff like that happens in during movie productions. I mean, it's sad. They're just out there doing their job, and a stunt goes wrong, and something happens like that, and three people are killed. So
Mm.
really down.
But it makes for good entertainment.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
well, in the case of Invasion, I mean, it made for a fucking fantastic. I mean, this movie, like I said, I can't say enough about how good this movie is and how good, just in general, how good of a remake this is. I think
Mm.
it's, I think it's very well done.
Yep.
Like I said, hands down, this is one of the films that started me out in the genre itself. Not just so much horror, but sci-fi as well.
Yeah.
Because it's that fine line of sci-fi horror. You have your perfect mix of invasion. Your world is being taken over, but yet it's taken over by aliens. So it's sci-fi horror in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely has both for
Mhm.
sure. Watching.
So yeah, I mean it was something that I grew up on. It was one of the films that I grew up watching. And lo and behold, you talked about Twilight. That was actually one of the films that I watched as a young child as well. I watched Twilight Zone, the film,
Yeah.
at a young age. So yeah, this is one that uh that I started out very young watching, and kind of took place. So it was very nostalgic for me to do this episode and everything.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. I didn't even know that. I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yep.
For me, it was a movie I wish I did watch when I was younger. So I wish I had nostalgia for it, but I can appreciate how fucking great of a movie it really is. So
Mhm.
just to have that other factor involved would be pretty cool. But like I said, great movie, fun time, was invested from start to finish. I mean, never looked away from the screen, never went to go do anything else, watched it through and through, and just had a blast with it. So yeah, high recommendation for this one. If anybody has not seen it before, I know we kind of went over every little bit of it, but still, if you want to see a good film, this is one you definitely pop in and watch.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you can get your hands on. So there is a Scream Factory edition of this film?
Yes, there is.
I didn't know that.
There definitely is, man, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that up.
Love it. The slipcover is so fucking cool. It's one that I'm
Nice.
surprised people don't talk about. The artwork's really good on it, but no one ever talks about the artwork on it. I never hear anybody. It's because Scream Factory does a fucking fantastic job with artwork. But it comes to, I think it's really underrated, the artwork on this one. Like the slipcover, it's killer. It looks really good. Kind of has that same color scheme that you get with the movie, which I think is pretty cool that they were able to capture that. But it looks good. It's really cool. If you can find it with a slipcover, definitely nab it, because I'm not 100% sure that it's one that's out of print, but you know how slipcovers are, the Screen Factory slipcovers are hard to find anyway, so it could possibly be.
You gonna pick up that Fly collection, Corey?
I need to.
Man, you have no idea how bad and how much I want to get that. I've been looking at Walmarts and I cannot find it. People have been finding them at Walmarts, and every Walmart I've been to, I can't find it.
That's the thing. Like, so I've been trying to find them at Walmart, but honestly, I'm at the point where I think I'm going to probably jump on that on eBay. So on that 2-hour episode where I'm talking about my haul,
There you go. Something to look forward to. But I mean, you get it.
I need to jump on it because I mean it's a really good box set because it has literally all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know.
And I know at Walmart it's considerably cheaper than it is on Amazon.
It is. What was it like? People were finding it for like $29 or something like
It was
that.
right around 30 something. Yeah, it was a lot cheaper. On Amazon, it's like 50, close to 60. So
I mean, it's 60 on Amazon, yeah, but it's you get how many movies? 3, 4?
Should be 4 movies, right?
Yeah.
4 Blu-ray movies and a collector's box set for 60. That's not that bad of a deal.
It's not cheap. Really. But when you see it for like close to 30, it's like, oh wow, you definitely it's like half the price right there.
People were picking that. People were picking that, and I believe the Omen box set up at Walmart?
Yeah, I think it was.
And I'm like, where the fuck are these Walmarts that are carrying this shit?
I know, right?
So for like every time, like my wife would be like, "You want to go to Walmart with me?" I'm like, "Let's go." Like I was on point to like go fucking find those box sets, and then every time I would go to like the Columbia area, it's like they just weren't there. I was like, well, found a Candyman while I was looking. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, they had some Screen Factories, but not the box sets. They just had the single releases, and you couldn't find I couldn't find box sets any fucking where.
Yeah. You got like Cool Duder finding them all day long, and I'm like, fuck you, Sean.
Hey, here's Matinee. Was that what you were talking about earlier? Was it in that movie?
Dance McElbray?
No.
Oh no, dude! It comes with it comes with 5 movies, not 4.
Well, the Fly box set?
Yeah, the Fly box set, because it has the original Fly, then Return of the Fly, Curse of the Fly, then the remake, The Fly, that came out in '86, and then the sequel to that remake, The Fly 2. So that's 5.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
So really, that's not for 60. That's really not that bad of a deal at all.
Not really.
I mean, you think about it, all those extras that they put into them too. I mean, that's not really a bad deal.
No.
Might be worth grabbing.
Yeah, the Body Snatchers Blu-ray Amazon, $97.95.
Ooh, yep, it's probably out of print. Damn.
Yeah. Better start looking in local shops and eBay.
But you can get just the regular movie from Blu-ray for $10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, excuse me. Well, there's multi-format for 10, and then just strictly Blu-ray for 17. What?
Who released it on Blu-ray though?
Hmm.
Dude.
I mean, I'm gonna probably try and find that Scream Factory edition somehow, some way.
You know what blows my mind? That Omen box set is $36.51 on Amazon right now. That's insane.
It went down in price then.
It's cheap, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm thinking about picking it up. That for 5 movies, that's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying less than 10 a movie. That's fucking. I mean, that's a hell of a good deal.
Look at this cover, yo. I want it just for the fucking cover.
That's a cool cover.
How cool is that?
Oh, that's Criterion. Dude. They do such a fucking fantastic job. They're the gold standard. They really are. I mean,
Did,
but Criterion, they released the classier movies. So.
did Criterion ever come out with Carnival of Souls? I think
They
I
did.
wouldn't say they did. That yeah, they did. Okay.
So did. Yep, they did. I picked that up too. That movie. Oh man.
I think I was with you in North Carolina when I picked up the fucking DVD, but I was hoping for a box set, or like Blu-ray.
The Blu-ray, yeah. They did a Blu-ray. It looks good. It's really good.
I mean, well, the
Criterion.
DVD is brilliant looking too.
Yeah.
This Criterion of Night of the Living Dead is amazing looking too.
Yeah. Look at their Godzilla that they put out. It's fucking beautiful.
Dude, Brian has a Godzilla collection.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Of course.
It
looks. I'm not surprised.
It looks like a newer release collection, but it's got like all the heavy hitters. It's got like Mothra, Mechagodzilla, a couple others. But God, I didn't ask him how much he wanted for it, but
Oh, Frosty, you got me wanting to pick up that War of the Worlds now, man.
that's right.
That shit looks so cool.
We seriously need to go on a hunt together, guys. We do.
Oh, God.
It's just gonna have to be next year when I get time off.
Just quit your job for like a weekend and go back. And be like, I made a mistake.
Oh, I
Take me
wish I
back.
could. I wish I could.
Just tell them, hey, I'm taking some time off. I got to go on a movie hunt.
I mean, if I put my 2 weeks notice in, I could probably draw all my fucking savings,
Yeah.
which is a lot. So I could do that, and then buy a lot of movies, and then go back to work,
There you go.
and then work till I'm like 80.
There's a 12-disc Blu-ray Godzilla set for $83. 12-disc.
Wow.
We need to end the show real quick. We haven't ended the show. We're continuing on.
We just like movies too much.
We got on a tangent, man. It happens.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Go watch it, bitches.
Yeah. Go watch it. Fucking amazing.
Oh, jeez.
That was our ending, Corey.
That was
Okay,
it.
that was it. That was the ending.
We landed the plane.
Go like, go check us out on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. We are looking into getting into other outlets like iTunes, Google Play, and all that jazz later. So yeah, tell your friends about us if you're into horror movies or cinema in general. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. We do have a Facebook group. It is a closed group. Just go to Facebook, type in the Midnight Monster Corner podcast. We should pull right up. And ask nicely. We'll let you in.
And I will say, yes, like I said, or like Frosty said, like, share, subscribe. And I just recently checked out on YouTube Studio, and we got a new subscriber. It didn't tell me who you are, So I don't know who you are, but number 27, thank you for subscribing. we much appreciate it, and we're glad that you're on board and listening, and keep us going. That's the main thing we keep asking. Just keep us going. This is something that we love.
Mhm. It's just fun to do, man. It's just fun to do.
Definitely is.
Talk movies with your homies. I mean, it's all fun.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
But with that, later, guys.
Later.
Later.